everybody. Oh crap, I left the light on. Ah. Oh God. The just classy lighting setup here. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the stream. It's Tuesday. So you know what that means. It's time for Perpetual Motion. The day, the class, we don't stop moving. It's a thing. Oh my God, guys. If I look a little loopy right now, it's because I'm bike commuting again, which is awesome. But it does also mean that I rode home 5.5 miles less than an hour ago, and I'm now here to teach a class. So, you know, I know it will get easier as I keep doing it, but I'm definitely in that phase where I'm like, oh, that's a lot more energy than I remember. Also, it's, 91 degrees out and hazy because of the seemingly endless array of forest fires, wildfires in Colorado right now. Fun times. If you have ever been to Colorado and wonder why in the summertime our fire bans are so strict, wonder no more. It is because we have fucking fires everywhere. Oh my God. So yeah, it was a lovely ride. And that's the thing I do love about the Boulder area, is that it is so well set up for bike commuting. Like I have never lived in a place where the infrastructure was this good. I used to bike commute in Providence, Rhode Island. And let me tell you, the cars there don't care if you live or die, and not in a like angry way, just in a like you're so far beneath their notice that they'll sideswipe you and just go on with their day. And that's whether you're a pedestrian or a cyclist. But for a while I was bike commuting from Pawtucket to downtown Providence, and I finally gave it up and just started taking the bus, because I was like, I'm a little tired of taking my life in my hands every time I get on the bike. And it was kind of miserable rides, just tons of hills in both directions, and steep ones too. So it was an unpleasant ride in general, and just didn't have the infrastructure set up for it to be a safe ride. And I was like, not great. So definitely something I like about not living there anymore and living here instead, is the ability to ride my bike and feel super safe while doing it. But it does mean that I am feeling really like I'm not yet worn out, but it's coming. It's coming. Last night I passed out in my living room chair without meaning to. Like sometimes you're sitting there and you're like, oh yeah, I'm about to fall asleep in this chair, and I'm okay with it. Last night was just like my brain went and woke up some amount of time later, and I was like, oh, whoa, guess I should get myself to bed. Oh my goodness. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna do class. Let's do our pre-class checklist, my friends. So we've got our water bottles, which are hopefully not dripping all over you like it's dripping all over me. There we go. We've got our comfy clothes on. We've got our mats set up over there, and we have our fitness wearable. So if you're using that, let's get that turned on. We use high intensity interval training for today. Remember, my friends, today is Perpetual Motion, which means that even when we are not doing our exercise sequences, we are still moving. Our active rest exercise is cross jacks or some variation thereof, and I will show them to you after we finish the warm-up. But just to remind you right now, we do not finish the warm-up and then just sit around and drink water. We get ourselves going. So make sure that your water bottle is placed somewhere where it is easily accessible from a standing position, because you do want to keep drinking water during class. but you need to make sure that you're not like stopping moving and leaning over to get the bottle and then drinking and then putting it back down. So just take a second as we're getting ourselves over to our mats. Take a second to just figure that out, okay? And in the meantime, ooh, I didn't bring my speaker over here. Hiya! All right, let's get that turned on so y'all can hear, and we are gonna get started with the warm-up. Oh my goodness. All right, friends, let's come on over to our mats. We're gonna start with our hip rocks and bridges. So on your back, on your mat, 1 foot crossed over the opposite knee. And as soon as you hear that timer, we will be going, okay? Get ready, get set. Woo, that was loud. I probably don't need it to be that loud. Da, da, da. But here we are. All right, now remember, and believe me, I'm reminding myself of this too. This is a warm-up, so we are not trying to go for 110% right off of the bat. That is not our goal. We're not going for the most power, the most speed, the most strength. Right now, we are booting up our brains and our bodies. All right, so we're just sort of turning on systems and going, okay, here we go. Let's get our brain going. Oh yeah, it feels like we're gonna be moving those muscles. So I need to be ready to send those electrical signals down to the muscle fibers. And then we get our muscle fibers going. All right, switch feet. We get our muscle fibers going. Oh, feels like we're gonna be doing a lot of movement. We need to make sure that our energy production systems are ready to go. So ready to start taking oxygen, using it to break down fuel sources and turn them into energy for the next hour. So if you're lying there going, man, I really don't feel like I'm rocking my hips all that far up into the air, don't worry about it, okay? We are warming up. You should feel the core engagement when you rock the hips up. You should feel a little bit of stretch in that hip of the leg that's crossed over the opposite knee, but we're not here to be going for as high up as I can possibly go, all right? All right, now for our leg sequence. So on our sides, we're doing our best Jane Fonda impression. Remember, we want a nice straight line of the body, okay? So make sure you engage your core here so that we've got that helping to maintain this balance position. It's not a huge balance position, but you'll notice if you let go of your core, you're more likely to rock forwards or rock backwards, okay? So let's make sure that our cores are engaged and we are engaging the glutes on the working leg as well, all right? So it will feel like you're pulling the leg backwards too far the first couple of times you do that. I promise you're not, but I understand the feeling, all right? We want to make sure that we've engaged that glute just to help us stay in that nice straight line. All right, taking that top leg, putting that foot in front of the bottom knee, and we're lifting the bottom leg now. All right, and here we are. This is our aspirational position right here. Again, as I've said many times, getting into this position depends on your hip flexibility. So you may not be able to hit this at all. You may only be able to hit it if you're really engaging the muscles in your hips and sort of pulling this whole apparatus up like this so that the knee's pointing up towards the ceiling. That's all very natural, all right? You'll see when we're on the other side, I have to do a little of that myself, okay? Because this is my very flexible hip. My other hip is a little stiffer, and so I need to engage a little more musculature to hold this position. But we do want to try and keep our foot flat on the floor, okay? And now we're going to take that foot, put it behind the bottom knee, and we're still lifting that bottom leg. So this is our nice, comfy, this is the most stable position here. You know, you're getting ready for your Jeremy Bear Me calendar. That was a good place joke. It was very funny. Because this foot is flat back here, we're not needing to maintain the balance in the same way we did in the other positions. So we can really just focus on lifting this leg and focus in on feeling what different muscle groups are engaged as we lift this leg, okay? Obviously the inner thigh is the star of this show, but you will also, if you're really paying attention, you'll feel a little bit of engagement in the lower abdominals too, on the same side as the working leg. So just take some time and try and feel for that. The more that we do to really feel what muscles are engaging during different exercises, the better we will get at class. All right, we are on our other side. We are doing the same 3 things, okay? Starting with the Jane Fonda. All right, so we're back to this position, balancing up on one hip, keeping that core engaged so that our hip doesn't go rolling anywhere, making sure that our body is in a nice straight line. If you're struggling to tell whether you are in a straight line, you can absolutely use the edge of your mat here, okay? That provides a really obvious straight line, and then you can just line your body up along it and do the exercise there. Get a sense for how that feels, and then maybe next week or the week after, see if you can recreate that without having to use the edge of the mat. All right, top foot flat on the floor, in front of the bottom knee, lifting the bottom leg. So as I said, since this hip is less flexible for me, I have to engage some of my muscles to pull this leg apparatus back so that the knee is pointing up towards the ceiling. Otherwise, my knee wants to cave forward, okay? And this is honestly a good starting place for practicing not letting our knees cave in when they want to do that, okay? There are few, if any, instances I can think of where I would want you to have a foot flat on the floor and have that knee sort of caving in like that, okay? So the sooner that you get into the habit, really engaging those hip muscles to keep that knee straight up, the happier you will be in many other exercises. All right, here we are, final leg exercise. Again, not too much more to say about this on this side. Just enjoy the chill, enjoy the relaxation. Hey, is anybody watching SGDQ, Summer Games Done Quick? I have been streaming whenever I have time, which is, you know, sadly not a ton, but I did catch Portal and Portal 2 last night, which are 2 of my favorite games, so it was wild to watch the speed runs. And then there was a racing game that was going just before class started. I'm blanking on the name, but it was incredibly soothing, you know. As long as I am not playing car racing games, I find the experience of watching really good gamers, like people who are really good at that style of game, play. I find that experience very meditative, and you know, speedrunners are pretty incredible. So it was lovely. It was lovely to watch, and it's a great cause. You know, they're raising donations for Doctors Without Borders, which is a super awesome cause. So yeah, if you have time, if you are at all interested in the weird and wacky world of speed running video games, or if you want to support a really great cause, check out Summer Games Done Quick. It's here on Twitch right now. It's going. It will be going for the rest of the week, I believe. So definitely check it out if you never have. It's, you know, if nothing else, it's a nice stream to have on in the background. while you're getting stuff done. All right. Oh, standing. Oh, and taking our imaginary PVC pipe so that we can do our nice big torso rotations. Remember to change directions every couple of rotations, okay? So we're not only going one way, because we're only doing this once. So you definitely want to make sure that you're evening yourself out. Really enjoy the stretch in the hamstrings as you go through the bottom of this rotation, okay? It is very, very nice. A nice active stretch there. And remember that you are initiating movement from your hips, not from your arms. The arms are coming along for the ride. They are not initiating anything. All right. So now, speaking of not letting your knees cave in towards one another, we're doing our squats, still holding our imaginary pipe above our heads, okay? And making sure that our knees are going straight out over our feet. So if you can't come down into this position without your knees trying to come together, or if you can come down like that, but as you're standing, they start to try to cave towards each other, narrow your stance a little bit and go, okay, I can maintain here. So I'm gonna practice here until I have enough strength that I can widen the stance again, and I should be able to hold the position, keep my knees safe the whole time. All right, time for Samson stretches. Oh boy, howdy. Let me tell you, this feels really nice. If you're looking to deepen this stretch, every time you exhale, just try and sink a little more deeply down into the stretch, okay? So, and I sink down a little lower, and I just intensify the stretch along my hip flexor a little more, okay? And, oh, it just feels really nice. Remember, we're lifting our arms straight up towards the ceiling, okay? So we are not trying to reach them behind ourselves at all, just straight up. And now, coming over to our nice deep squat, and we're moving our shoulders in, twisting one in towards the midline, and then the other, just going back and forth. Oh, man. Now I can feel that I did a bike ride less than an hour ago, because, woo, man, my thighs are a lot less pleased with this position than they usually are. So, woo. But remember that we are not moving any other parts of this, okay? We're not trying to come up and down out of the squat. We're not trying to let a knee follow the shoulders in. All right, the only things moving are our shoulders, okay? All right, and now it's time for cardio. Oh yeah. So here we are doing our jumping jacks. Oh, we're so close to the end of the warm-up. Just 2 more exercises after this, and then you go straight into your active rest. Hey, so really the end of the warm-up isn't quite as exciting as it usually is, but you know, it's an active rest exercise, so hopefully you have learned how to do it without expending huge amounts of energy, because that's the goal. It's the exercise we use when we want to keep moving, but we also want to make sure that we can lower our heart rate a little bit, lower our breathing rate a little bit, and all that stuff. But before we get there, kick throughs. I'm gonna take it easy on kick throughs today because for those of you who saw my bread pictures from yesterday, it was such a wonderful experience, so much fun, except for when I gave myself a nice gash along the heel of my hand. And it's actually healing quite nicely. I'm pretty pleased with it. I don't think it's actively open anymore, but it definitely still feels a little raw. So I'm just going to try to be careful of anything that requires me to be resting on my hands in the way the kick throughs do. So I trust you all. You all know my 4 notes on that. And besides, now it's time for burpees. So remember, we're going for a wave push-up, okay? Wave push-up for the burpees, and a nice victory clap up at the top. Hiya. And this is the end of the warm-up, but what I want you to do, rather than being like, all right, all I have to do is get through this and I'll be able to stop, I want you to start prepping yourself for the fact that you will have to keep moving, okay? This is perpetual motion. You come to this class because you are gonna keep moving the whole time, all right? So just be ready. As soon as you hear that ending horn, you stand right up and you go into cross jacks, all right? So cross jacks are our active rest exercise, and we're not going for huge movement, we're going for bare minimum, okay? And if for some reason that feels a little weird for you, I've had clients who will cross their arms, but they'll just sort of jump from foot to foot and kick them out. I've had clients who will, you know, do this like side to side jump, and all of that's okay with me. The most important thing is that you keep moving, whether it's this or this or this. You're moving the whole class, all right? Even when I come over here and sit down, you're still moving, okay? All right, so today, we're gonna make sure we drink plenty of water because it's 90-something degrees out where I am, and I'm sure it's similar where everyone else is. And then, so for our timers today, we're gonna stick with our perpetual motion timers. So we will have work intervals, okay? But we're only going to have 2 exercises per timer, and we'll alternate between them through 8 repetitions total, okay? So it'll be kind of similar to our cardio tabatas, except A, it's perpetual motion, and B, it's longer intervals of time. So we're going back and forth between work intervals that are 30 seconds long and work intervals that are 1 minute long, okay? So we're gonna start with 1 minute intervals. So everybody, as you're jumping along, just start getting prepared, okay? All right, so our 2 exercises for these 1 minute intervals to start with. We will have first turtle waves. So every time I tell you something is a turtle exercise, you know that the beginning of it is rolling up onto your shoulders and then rolling up onto your feet. If you have difficulty rolling onto your feet using just momentum, you can use a hand to push yourself up. And then plant your hands, jump back into your plank position, wave push-up, jump your legs forward, and over, okay? The second exercise is our slow leg lower. So we lie down on our backs, legs extended up towards the ceiling, and we activate the core to tilt the pelvis up so that your lower back is completely pinned to the ground, okay? If you take your hands, try to push them underneath, they can't go. It is totally pinned to the ground, and then we slowly lower our legs, stopping every 15 degrees to hold for 2 seconds, and then continue, making sure, testing that lower back to make sure that it is still all the way along the ground. If you feel it come up, that's the time to stop, reset, and go again, okay? So those are our 2 exercises. We've got turtle waves and we've got slow leg lowers. So as soon as you hear the timer go off, we will be going. So remember, there are no stop timers, no rest intervals. We are just going. So as soon as you hear that first timer, it will be time for our turtle waves. Hiya, and up, back. Remember when you're doing that wave push-up to keep your elbows in by your sides, okay? So we're not letting them fan out, all right? If you've taken class with me for a while, you know that that is something I focus on a lot because I like to focus the work on the triceps for push-ups. So we are not taking super wide stances, and we're not letting our elbows come out from our sides, okay? So those are the things to think about. Obviously with a wave push-up, we're not going for that perfect plank form. You want to jump into a plank position, but you're not doing a plank push-up. So just enjoy that, all right? Just enjoy that. But now you are on the slow leg lower. And we keep our hands by our lower backs so that we can just test every once in a while, make sure that that lower back is still glued to the ground. Now, if you have a yoga strap, that can be an incredibly useful piece of equipment for this exercise because you can lay the yoga strap under your back, under your lower back. And when you engage that pelvic tilt so that your back is flat against the floor, just give it a tug so that you can go, okay, it is pinned to the floor, my lower back is down against the ground, and rather than keeping your arms in this sort of awkward position to keep trying to push your fingertips under your lower back, you can just every once in a while tug on the yoga strap and go, yep, that's still okay. It's still pinned to the ground. I don't need to worry. Or, ooh, that moved pretty easily. I should reset and start again, okay? So if you do yoga, you may have that piece of equipment in your home. If you don't, obviously don't worry about it. Obviously, you can do that check perfectly easily with just your fingertips. But, you know, it can feel a little awkward to have your elbows sort of out like that against the ground trying to go, is my back still against it? So if that's something that you'd be interested in, that would be the equipment that I would recommend using. But all right, woo, set number 4. So this is our second time through the slow leg lowers, speaking of them, and hopefully you are still maintaining the form. The thing I love about this exercise is that there is not really a way to try and compensate for a weak core with other muscle groups, okay? As long as you have that pelvic tilt so that you've engaged the core, so that your lower back is flat against the ground, there is no way for you to do this exercise using anything other than the power of your abs, okay? So it's an exercise that I will use to assess people's core strength, and then it's the exercise that I will give them to strengthen their core. So if you are feeling like your core needs some help, and obviously we do a lot in this class that benefits from a strong core. So if you've been feeling like you want a little more strength in that area, then absolutely that would be the exercise I would recommend. Because the problem with so many other ab exercises is that you can cheat using other muscle groups and be doing the exercise but not actually doing it with your core. You know, a lot of ab exercises, people will try to pull themselves forward using their head and neck in particular. You have people complaining about stiff necks after doing ab exercises. It's because they're trying to compensate with their necks for the fact that their core is not strong enough to maintain the position. So I do really love this exercise, and if you have been feeling that you've been struggling with your core strength, then this would be what I would go for. And when you get down to the bottom, assuming that you're not dropping it, if you have more energy, then you just reverse and you come all the way back up to the top. All right? Whew, it's intense. Let me tell you, it's definitely intense. Oh my goodness. All right, my friends, we are coming to our last two intervals. So here's your last time for turtle waves. All right, remember, wave push-up, not plank push-up, okay? I end up with this a lot, you know. People are so determined to do, I want to do the most intense version of the push-up that I know. It's got to be the plank or bust. But plank is not what you've been told to do, okay? And, you know, and unless I'm telling you, all right, it's okay to do either version of this, then you should assume I have a reason for giving you a specific exercise. When we do push-ups, full stop push-ups, I tend to give people the option of doing whichever version that they feel comfortable with. But for things like burpees, for things like turtle waves, I want that wave push-up, okay? All right, and last time for that slow leg lower. Remember to keep breathing. With these slow moving exercises, especially exercises with a component that involves holding a position, we all have such a tendency to hold our breaths and to be like, this will help me hold the position. Well, no, all you're actually doing is not bringing oxygen into your body, and your muscle fibers really need that oxygen because they need it to break down the fuel sources in their energy systems so that they can actually get the energy that they need to do this class. So make sure that you can hear and feel yourself breathing while you're doing them. All right, but you have fewer than 10 seconds left, so just really enjoy that hold and get ready to stand right back up as soon as you hear that horn. Stand right back up, and here we are. We're back to our cross jacks, all right? Or kicking the feet out like that, or jumping back and forth, okay? So whatever it is, you're gonna keep moving the whole time. Make sure you grab your water bottle. Good job, my friends. We've made it through timer number 1. Oh man, I'm speaking of water. Yeah, it's been hard to tell today what has been cloud and what has been haze from the fires, which is, yeah, it's a disconcerting thing when you can't quite tell what's cloud and what's smoke. At one point, a brand new, like, small plume seemed to be going up in Boulder proper. Thankfully, it was clearly not anything. And you can generally tell the difference between like controlled burns or deliberate burns and wildfire smoke. Because controlled, like anytime that I see smoke plumes that are white smoke, I generally assume that that is a controlled burn of some kind. And this was, thankfully, because we've got more than enough fire in the state. Thank you very much. All right, so our next round is going to be 30-second work intervals, all right? So we're shaving a whole 30 seconds off of that work interval. It's still gonna be 2 exercises, and we're just cycling back and forth. And actually, in this case, it's basically just 1 exercise, just changing which side you're doing it on. So we're gonna do side planks off of the elbow, okay? So I've got my shoulder directly over my elbow to create that nice perpendicular line between my upper arm and the ground. And I've extended my feet out here. I'm in this plank, all right? I'm holding my hip in this position, not letting it sink towards the floor. I'm gonna keep my other arm up towards the ceiling. If you really want some additional intensity, you can do a little bit of a leg raise there. It's not required, but if you really want to, you can. And then we're just gonna do it on the other side, same way. So we're just gonna go back and forth for side planks from the elbow. All right, so as soon as you hear the timer go, we will be starting. So you're still cross-jacking, all right? You're not getting down on the floor to get ready for this position. You need to be able to make that transition from, all right, I'm up here and I'm moving, to, okay, now I'm down on the floor and I'm in my side plank position, okay? So we talk about the bare minimum for this class. So if you're new to class, or you're just coming back, or you're coming off of an injury, or anything like that, then what I want you to focus on is just the bare minimum. And that consists of 3 things, okay? It consists of starting on time, stopping on time, and doing the exercise correctly. So when we're doing like a standard Tabata timer, it's really easy to start on time, okay? We're coming off of a rest and we have that sound that plays, the knocking sound that tells us to get in a position, and we're like, okay, cool. When that horn goes, I start doing the movement. Awesome. When we're doing perpetual motion, it's a little different, because when you are not ever still, you can't just get into position and wait and start on the timer, because you have to be doing your other exercise until that timer ends. That's part of stopping on time, is we're making sure that we're holding that plank until that horn goes and not stopping early to go get ourselves in position for the other plank. So what starting on time becomes for perpetual motion is minimizing the amount of time that it takes you to get from one exercise to the other, okay? And depending on the exercises that you're switching between, that can be easier or it can be harder. With something like this, where you really could just roll over onto your other side and be in the side plank, it's probably going to be pretty easy, okay? You're gonna be like, all right, cool. Here I am. I'm in position. But when we get to the end of this, and that final ending horn goes off, and we have to go back into our cross jacks, that takes a little more movement. We're changing planes. We're standing up, you know? We're going into we're going from a held position into a moving position. So you have to figure out the most efficient pathway to get from point A, which is the exercise you are doing, to point B, which is the exercise that you need to start doing, okay? So that's the thing that we always want to focus on for these classes. And it gets easier over time, just as your familiarity with different exercises in general increases, you know? And so if I, assign this to you next week, you're like, oh yeah, I understand exactly how to get back and forth between these because we did that last week. And it gets easier just over the course of the timer, honestly. You're probably going to be slowest in your first couple of transitions, but once you've tried those transitions and you go, oh, okay, I understand how to make that movement, well, then you don't have to worry. Then your brain is like, okay, I got this. And it's gonna remind me not to snap when I have a nice gash across the heel of my hand. So you should feel the change over the course of the timer, and then you will also feel it as you become more experienced and more confident in class and with the exercises that we're doing, okay? Oh, good job, everybody. Yeah. So you're cross-jacking. You're cross-jacking still. Definitely drink water, okay? This class is not an excuse to neglect your hydration, all right? You've heard me go on my hydration rants. We are very bad at hydrating ourselves, even when we're not exercising like this. And when we are exercising like this, well, we're even worse. So make sure that you're going through at least one whole bottle, okay, over the course of class. Like by the time you get to the end of the class, your water bottle should be empty. And as soon as class is done, you should go fill it back up and drink that water too, all right? Okay, my dears. So next time we're going back to 1 minute intervals. And our exercises are going to be these. Speaking of push-ups, we are going to do push-ups to a downward dog. So starting from that front plank position, you can do whichever form of push-up you want to. You can do from the knees, you can do the plank, you can do the wave, and then once you've done the push-up, push yourself back to a downward dog, back to that plank position, push up, and back. So even if I'm going from the knees, I still come into that plank position, then just drop my knees there. So I still have a pretty straight line from my knees up to my shoulders. My shoulders are directly over my wrists, always. Nice, stable, strong. Elbows in by the body, and then pushing back, okay? And then our second exercise is going to be squats with the knee raise. So we're coming up to a standing position. We're going for about shoulder width apart for our feet, and squat down. As you stand back up, you lift one knee up and balance on the other leg. Squat down, reverse, and just alternate side to side, paying attention to your squat form, making sure your knees aren't caving in towards each other, all that fun jazz. All right, so make sure that you are on your mats, cross-jacking away, and get ready to go down into your push-ups. As soon as you hear the horn, down, and push up, back to that downward dog, push up, back to that downward dog. Remember, if you want to do a wave push up here, you can. If you want to go plank down, wave up, you can. If you want to just go from the knees, if you want to just do plank push-ups, whatever you want to do, okay? Try to keep the same form throughout the whole minute, okay? So maybe you start a little more conservatively. Maybe you start with what feels like an easier version for you. And then next time around, you're like, okay, now I'm going to try the plank from the knees and see how I do with that, okay? But try to make your goal holding the same form for that entire minute and then getting yourself trying out other forms as you go forward. Maybe you do planks for your first run because that's when you're freshest, and then you go, oh, I think I'm gonna drop down to the knees, or maybe start doing a waved version or half plank, half wave, something like that. You know, that's totally fine. Totally fine. No matter what version you're doing, you're still getting an awesome arm workout. So you should always, always be proud of yourself, no matter what, okay? Because you are doing awesome work as you're doing those push-ups. And I do not care. I truly don't care which version you're doing. You know, there's a lot of cultural judgment that falls on people not being able to do plank push-ups or doing them from the knees, or, you know, waves. A lot of that judgment, dare I say it, pretty misogynistic. And you know what? It's still an awesome exercise, no matter which form of it you're doing. So I don't want you to worry about that, okay? I don't want you to be worrying that you're not doing the hardest version or anything like that. Just focus on your form. Again, form, doing the exercise correctly. One of the 3 pillars of the bare minimum, okay? And it is so much more important than any perceived competition that we have going on with anyone else, okay? It is so much more important to me that you are able to do, you know, 10 beautiful, perfect reps of push-ups from your knees than someone over here doing, you know, 50 push-ups, plank push-ups that just steadily get worse and worse in terms of form, okay? You are going to be better off in the long run. You are going to be less prone to injury. You are going to keep getting stronger. You're not going to be teaching your body and your brain and your muscles bad habits. And you are going to be able to continue improving, okay? So as we do these classes, and it's the thing that I love about streaming on Twitch, is we don't have to worry about feeling like we are competing with anybody else, okay? We're not here worrying about who that person is in the, you know, at the free weights, and holy crap, you know, they look like they're built like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and I don't look that way, and, you know, they're using 500 pounds on that machine, and I can barely get it on 50 pounds, you know. And that can be really intimidating, and it can make people not want to exercise, you know. And in my opinion, the fitness industry does not do enough to make people feel comfortable in its spaces, regardless of what your skill level regardless of what your body shape is, regardless of whether you started yesterday or 10 years ago, we don't do a good job of making people feel welcome, making people feel safe to come in and be beginners at things, to be learning. And it drives me nuts because it makes people feel like exercise is not for them. And exercise is for everybody, okay? Exercise is for every single person, whether you're large or small, tall, short, able-bodied, disabled. Exercise is for all of us. And nobody should be made to feel like exercise isn't for them, because it is. And if there's one thing that I love about doing these streams on Twitch, it's the fact that it can be easier to believe that in this space, You are in a safe space. You're in your home. You're in your living room or your basement or maybe even your bedroom. You're in a safe space. And the only other person who's there in some capacity is me. And you know that I believe in you. You know that I am so proud of you for getting on the mat and for taking class and for being like, oh my God, I can't stop moving this whole time, and it's going to be intense and it's going to suck and I'm going to do it anyway. And that's amazing, okay? And you should always feel proud of that. And you should always remember that the only person in the room is me, and I am going to be your biggest cheerleader, okay? I'm going to poke you about form. I'm going to poke you when I think that you need to push yourself a little bit harder, but I am always going to be proud of you for what you've achieved and what you've accomplished. And I hope that you always remember that, okay? No matter what, always remember that. And I hope that it makes exercise safer and more fun for you, all right? All right, we're coming to the end of this timer. Remember, as soon as it goes, hey, it's a lot easier to go back into these movements when you are already in an upright position. So that's nice. Okay, my friends, we've just got 2 more timers to get through. And then we'll do some stretching because, man, can I use some stretching right now. All right, so our remaining 2 timers, we've got 1 more 30-second work interval timer, and then we're gonna have 1 more of the 1-minute work interval timers. So for our 30 seconds, our 2 exercises, we're gonna do flying chickens. Yes, I'm giving you a little bit more of an intense cardio exercise, but I believe that you can do it, all right? So we're starting with our feet together. We're gonna have our thumbs at about chest height. If you wear a bra, hooking your thumbs under your bra straps is a super easy way to gauge where your thumbs should go. And we're just going to be jumping and flapping our elbows. So this differs from jumping jacks because in a jumping jack, I jump my feet out and land, and jump my feet back and land. For flying chickens and star jumps, we jump our feet out in the air, but they land back where they started. So out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, like that. Then our other exercise is gonna be TikToks. So we're gonna come into this pike position, arms straight, hands together to one side of your knees. Extend out just far enough that you can get your hands to the other side without having to bend or lift. Back to the pike, and back, and back, and back and back, okay? So those are our 2 exercises. We've got flying chickens and we've got TikToks. So again, starting on time, we're gonna be shifting through a couple of different planes. So get ready for that, okay? All right, and as soon as you hear that timer go, we will be off and away, flying through the air like the most majestic of barnyard fowls. Ah, yes. And we're just flapping our elbows up and down, okay? They're not having to come super high, like mine aren't even coming up to parallel with the ground, really. Just make sure you're flapping them. And we're going for smaller jumps so that we can get more in, okay? And then down to the ground for TikToks. This is one of those exercises where we may try to compensate with other muscle groups. So check in, make sure that your lower abdominals are the muscles that are pulling you back into that pike position. Woo! Oh, I love TikToks. I mean, anyone who's taken this class long enough knows that I have a soft spot for core focused exercises. It is such a great stabilizing muscle group, and it's so important for so many things that we do, both in class and just out in the world. You know, I was moving a lot of heavy boxes today and making sure that I had my core engaged and wasn't going to let my back go wrenching in any direction that it didn't intend to go. It's critical. It's critical. So whether you are here doing TikToks or moving into a new home and trying to carry a heavy table up a set of stairs, having a strong core can be just a game changer, all right? So definitely one of the reasons why I enjoy those exercises and why I want to make sure that they are actually working for you. You know, that's why we talk about not wanting to compensate with other exercises and or with other muscle groups. And honestly, that goes for any exercise. You know, part of doing the form correctly is double checking on am I using the right muscle group to perform this exercise. You know, that's a component for anything. It's just that for core exercises, it can be easier to ignore the fact that we are compensating with other muscles and not actually using the group that is supposed to be driving the exercise. So if it feels like I talk about it a little bit more for ab exercises than anything else, that's part of the reason. Just, you know, it is easier to not pay attention and then to wonder, man, why does my neck feel so sore? You know, why does everything up there feel really stiff? Well, it's because, and why, you know, don't my abs feel like they did anything? Well, it's because you weren't actually using them for the exercise. So definitely pay attention in these last 30 seconds to whether you are engaging that core for this exercise. And then, look at that. Look at how easy it was to get up and start doing our cross jacks again. Whew. All right, my friends. Boy, howdy. How's everybody feeling? All right. While you're, without stopping cross-jacking, just want you to flex a little bit because everybody's being super badass today. You don't take this class if you're not a badass. So Well done, everybody. Grab a little water, and we're gonna go into our final perpetual motion. So 1 minute work intervals. These are our last 2 exercises. And then we will do some stretches, and wow, will they feel good. All right? So here we go. My friends, I know that you've been wondering, but Blanche, you haven't done any toe squats yet. How will I survive without getting my toe squat fix in? Fear not, that's one of our 2, all right? So feet hip width apart, and remember, we're trying to keep our backs straight up and down as we go down in the squat, letting the heels come off the floor so we can come all the way down like this, and then back up and down and up and down and up, okay? And then our other exercise is going to be ankle reaches. So on our backs, with our legs extended straight up in the air, knees are straight, no bend to the knees, okay? And engage your core, so that is what lifts your shoulders off the ground and your upper back off the ground. And you can reach one hand to the outside of the opposite ankle, and then core, 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 and you just go back and forth from there. All right, my friends, this is our last sequence. You are so close to being able to stop moving. Oh, and I know you're excited. So we're cross-jacking away, we're moving, and now we are doing our toe squats. Remember to keep control of the exercise the whole time. So you don't want to let gravity pull you down to the bottom and then bounce you around. It's really bad for your knees, okay? So even when I'm going quickly, I am still in control of the motion the whole time. And you know what can help with that? Our old friend, abdominals, okay? So making sure that you are engaging your core and keep using that to stabilize your torso so that it's not going anywhere that you don't expect, because this is a lot of weight for just the ball of your foot and your ankle to manage. So you want something else engaged to make sure that you're not having to do anything else to compensate. And now we're doing our ankle reaches. So again, and you can probably already tell, this is an exercise where it will be extremely easy for you to try and pull yourself along by your neck and head, okay? So every time that you go up to tap that ankle, I want you to check in and go, have I engaged my core? Or am I just pulling myself upwards by my arm, by my head, by my neck, okay? Check every single time. You'll know that you've been engaging your core when it starts to get tired, like mine is doing right now, okay? Woo! Yeah, it'll get tired, absolutely. And that's what we want to feel. But we also want to make sure that when it gets tired, we don't start losing the form, okay? That's the other big thing that we need to focus on, is how do you keep your form correct even when your muscles are starting to get fatigued? And you know, some of it is just recognizing your failure points and going, okay, legitimately, if I don't stop, I am going to have to take some really unhealthy positions to make this exercise work. Okay, it's time to stop. But sometimes it means dropping a little weight, slowing down your reps, and you still have some additional reps in you You just have to focus a lot more closely, okay? So just pay attention. Just pay attention. Learn these things about your body, you know? We are here on a voyage towards leading healthy lives, and a lot of that comes down to developing an actual healthy relationship with your body, understanding its strengths, its weaknesses, its power, understanding the signals it is sending you and what they are trying to communicate, so that you are not, you know, pushing yourself through the day, not eating any food when your body is desperately signaling it's hungry, so that you're not going, oh, no pain, no gain, I gotta push through this set, when your body is desperately trying to tell you that it's about to get injured, you know? We need healthy, happy relationships with our bodies, and modern culture makes that so hard. Modern culture, and particularly modern Western culture, I shouldn't speak for all cultures. I can only truly speak for mine, America. And quite frankly, America is real good at making us feel like shit about our bodies, and making us feel like we will never be good enough to get the body that we want. Tying different body shapes to morality, which is just the stupidest thing. And a lot of that gets sucked into the fitness realm too. And, you know, it's crap everywhere, okay? So as you're coming into class with me, and as you're going through these classes with me, I want you to really start to pay attention to your body, to learn about it, to learn, oh man, you know, this arm twinges a little bit when I do this, maybe I need to find a modification. Oh, I really love how flexible this one hip is, or I really love how well I can balance on this one foot, you know. Oh, cool, I can feel the definition in my muscles. That's really exciting. I feel really powerful now, you know. And if we can build those positive relationships with our bodies with no moral judgments attached, that's my goal. That's my goal, because you know what? If you're able to do this class, or a yoga class, or a dance class, or go for a run, you're an athlete. I literally do not care whether you look like a fitness instructor or not. You're an athlete because you can do the activity. And that is something I want you to always remember. We put so much pressure on ourselves to look a certain way. We judge ourselves, we judge other people. You know, a lot of the reason I think that people can feel really intimidated in gyms is because we have this automatic judgment of people based on visual cues. And you know what? It's never good. It's never a good thing, because having worked in the healthcare, health insurance industry, having worked in mental health, eating disorders clinics, I can tell you that your health and the size and shape of your body are not actually connected, okay? They're not connected. Anyone who has told you that is lying. Are your labs good? Then that's awesome. It doesn't matter if you're, you know, above the standard weight categories. You're healthy. Are your labs bad? It doesn't matter if you are as thin as a rail. You're not healthy, okay? Your health and your body size are not tied together. They're not inextricably bound. And what I want you to always remember is that your body is awesome. Your body can do so many incredible things. And I want you to just focus on that, full stop, okay? Your body just got through an hour of this class. You didn't stop moving once. Like, how amazing is that? You have kept moving for an entire hour, and you are about to get to stretch and shower and have a good meal, and you should be incredibly proud of yourself because you're done. Oh, you do not have to cross-jack anymore. Cross-jacks are over. Congratulations, my friends. Yes. Woo! All right. Let's do some stretches, okay? Oh, yeah, it's time. So let's come back to our mats. All right, grab some water first. Just, you know, you've been moving for a while. You've earned some water. There we go. Finish my water bottle. Okay. So we're just going to stand on our mats, feet about hip width apart, and we're just going to start dropping our chin to our chest. Oh, feel that gravity. Probably feel a little popping along the top of your spine. And then look up. When you look up, and thank you, Will, for reminding me to talk to people about this. So you don't want to go all the way up like that, okay? I'm looking upwards. My chin's pointing diagonally upwards. I can see the ceiling, but I'm not trying to crunch down on the top of my neck. This will become particularly relevant when we do full neck circles, because as you come up through here, you're really sort of almost bringing your head up to straight. It's just slightly diagonal up. But you don't, if you feel like really crunched down when you go through that position, then you're trying to bring your head back too far, okay? Okay, so chin to chest. And let's just take a few times looking up and back down, up and back down, up and back down. Now bring your head up to a neutral position. Look to your right, directly over your shoulder, then to your left, and just go back and forth between those two positions. Sorry, I whipped my head there because there was hair in my face. Please don't follow that example. Okay, chin back down to chest, and now we're going to roll to one side so that my ear is pointing down towards my shoulder, and then back through the center and to the other side. I'm just going to go back and forth and back and forth. All right, and as you even yourself out on this, next time, take it in a full circle. Remember, when you get to the top, don't let your neck go super far behind you. We don't want to be crunching our necks up there, okay? All right. Whew. I'm tired. Are you all tired? I'm tired. All right. So, chin to chest, and we are going to roll down one vertebra at a time until we are folded over at the hips and we are able to put our hands on the ground, okay? So here we go. On my count, it's an 8 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When you come down here, I want you to shake your head out a little bit. Just make sure that you're not clenching your neck muscles, okay? And you can sway your torso back and forth a little bit. Just to, again, get a little movement in there. My knees are not locked, okay? there's a slight bend in them. They're still pretty much straight, but you don't want them locked into place, okay? And what we're gonna do now, again on an 8 count, 4 down, 4 up, we're gonna squat all the way down and then come back to this position. And each time we come back to this position, see if you can fold a little bit closer to your thighs, okay? All right, here we go. And down, 2, 3, 4, and up, 5, 6, 7, 8. Down, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, shake that head out. Have your hands behind your ankles so you can pull a little bit closer, chest towards your thighs. Fold a little bit deeper. I know you're feeling a really intense stretch in your hamstrings right now, so don't yank on yourself, okay? Just try and feel that. And then, I'll show you from the front. I want you to take your hands to your opposite elbows. So now, gravity is getting in on the action, pushing down a little more on our lower backs, pushing down a little more, and just let your spine move, wiggle from side to side. Okay? And then what we're going to do, let your hands drop back down again. We're going to bend those knees and we're going to roll up one vertebra at a time, again on that 8 count. And when you get to the top, I want you to just stand there, okay? All right, here we go. Bend those knees and rolling up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stop right there. Don't touch your hair. Don't touch your face. Don't adjust your clothes. Feel the height in your spine. Feel the blood rushing back through your body. Some nice deep breaths here in the standing position. All right, and shake yourself out. Yeah. Okay. That was a lovely little stretch. My dears, I think that we are done for today. And oh, what an awesome class. What an awesome class. That was really intense. Really intense, I'm sure, for you all, keeping that movement going the whole time. Really intense for me teaching after a 5.5 mile bike ride. And I am proud of all of us because we did it. And now we can take a shower, have some dinner, and relax for the rest of the night. Woo! I've got 3 more classes this week. Tomorrow night, tomorrow afternoon, 4:30 p.m. Mountain Time. We've got Jump Around, our cardio class. And then, which will be the opportunity for me to debut my new glasses because apparently they're already ready. I thought it was going to take a week. I'm so excited. So hopefully I will be wearing new glasses tomorrow that don't have glue holding the frames together. So say goodbye to the glue dot because it won't be here for long. Then on Friday at 6 p.m., we will be doing functional home fitness where we do weight training using objects that you can find around your house. And then Saturday morning, we have the weekend kickoff, which is a wonderful strength and stamina bodyweight class that I really enjoy. It's just a great way to start out, a day in general, and it's a nice way to start out the weekend. It gives you a little more energy to really take with you through whatever either activities or relaxation you want to do over the course of the weekend. So I hope to see you back for some if not all of those classes. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Facebook and Insta at Blanche Case Fitness, Twitter at Blanche C Fitness. All of the VODs from this channel are uploaded to my YouTube channel, so just search for Blanche Case Fitness. Please do subscribe to that channel. In addition to the VODs from our classes, I am also going to be putting additional supplementary content up there, you know, form videos and stretching sequences and warm-up sequences and stuff like that. So it will be a really helpful resource, both if you miss class and want to go back and find the stream, or if you're bringing someone new to class and they've never done the warm-up before and they don't want to get thrown to the wolves right off the bat. If you enjoyed yourself and feel financially able to make a donation, I do have a Ko-Fi account, also at Blanche Case Fitness. Donations are always appreciated, never required. And if you, like me, have a great time in these classes and want to take more and see more content, keep growing this community, then please consider following this channel. It's been growing really well. I'm making my way slowly and steadily towards fulfilling the requirements to get to Twitch affiliate, which would be super cool, and would open up the opportunity for people to be able to subscribe to the channel, which would be awesome. And just, yeah, it's you know, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We're taking our time, and that is awesome. But yeah, please do follow the channel if you enjoy yourself, if you enjoy these classes. And yeah, all right, I think that is about it. I'm gonna enjoy my haze-free air, have a good shower, and fill myself up with food, because man, do I need some food. And I hope you do the same. And maybe I will see some of you here tomorrow afternoon. Mwah! Have a great night.